The power of spiritual isolation, how being alone led to my biggest breakthrough. Hello, I'm Jocelyn Grace. Have you ever felt like life was pulling you away from everything familiar? People, relationships, distractions, only to realize later that it was for your highest good. At first, it feels like loss, like punishment. But what if I told you that spiritual isolation isn't rejection, it's redirection? I know this because I've lived it. After heartbreak, after disappointment, after surviving stage 4 cancer, I found myself in a place where I had no choice but to sit with myself, no distractions, no people to pour into, just me, God, and the truth I had been avoiding. And let me tell you, what felt like loneliness at first became one of the greatest blessings of my life. In this episode, I want to share what that journey looked like, how I fought it at first, what I learned, and why now I believe spiritual isolation is one of the most powerful tools for transformation. Part 1: The struggle of being set apart. When life started stripping things away, people I thought would always be there, relationships I tried so hard to hold on to, it felt like I was being punished, like I was losing everything. I fought it. I kept trying to reconnect with people who had already left. I questioned why God would allow me to go through so much alone, especially after everything I had already survived. I was grieving the version of me who tolerated things I no longer could, the version of me who thought love had to be earned through suffering. But what I didn't realize at the time was that this isolation wasn't about losing, it was about gaining clarity, about clearing out the noise so I could hear God more clearly, about making space for something better. The shift from loneliness to healing. The moment things started to change was when I stopped resisting. I let myself sit in the quiet. I stopped trying to fill in the void with distractions. I leaned into my faith more than I ever had before. And that's when I started to hear God differently. I began recognizing patterns in my past, how I kept choosing the same kind of relationships because of wounds I hadn't healed. Um, I let myself sit in the quiet. I stopped trying to fill the void with distractions. I leaned into my faith more than I ever had before. And that's when I started to hear God differently. I began recognizing patterns in my past, how I kept choosing the same kind of relationships because I hadn't healed. I realized how much energy I had spent trying to do and be everything for everyone else, leaving nothing for myself. I started seeing my worth not through the eyes of others, but through the eyes of God. This isolation forced me to face truths I had been running from, and instead of breaking me, it built me. Part 3: The blessings that came from it. Looking back, I now understand that spiritual isolation was a gift. It was God's way of protecting me, preparing me, and positioning me for more. I found strength in my own presence. I learned to trust my intuition and recognize red flags before I got hurt. I no longer seek validation from people who don't value me. And most importantly, I become more aligned with the life I truly deserve. Had I not gone through that season of isolation, I wouldn't be the woman I am today. Closing thoughts. If you're in a season of isolation right now, I want you to know it's not rejection. It's protection. It's preparation. I know it hurts. I know it feels unfair. But trust that something greater is happening behind the scenes. It's your time to heal, to grow, and to realign with your true purpose. You are not alone in this. And one day you will look back and realize that what felt like the hardest season of your life was actually the one that saved you. If this resonated with you, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Send me a message, leave a comment, share this with someone who needs it. What has isolation taught you?